No doubt that watching horror movies sends cold chill to the spine. Keeps you on terrifying suspense and give you goosebumps. But hey, some people enjoy it too. And trust me, I am one of them. In this video, I shall take you through the top 10 horror movies that will scare the hell out of you. Just ensure you keep yourself together. Or better still, don't watch any of them alone, as these movies contains creepy scenes and can cause unpleasant viewing experience. Number 10. It. This movie is known as It Chapter 1. Is a 2017 American supernatural horror film based on Stephen King's 1986 novel of the same name. Produced by New Line Cinema, Catsmith Productions, Lynn Pictures, Vertigo Entertainment. And distributed by Warner Brothers. It is the first film in the It film series, as well as being the second adaptation following Tommy Lee Wallace's 1990 miniseries. The film tells the story of 7 children in Derry, Maine, who are terrorized by the eponymous being, only to face their own personal demons in the process. This film also has its Part 2, which was released in 2019. It is the second installment of the It film series and centers on the Losers Club reuniting from their various lives apart from each other to destroy it once and for all. Though being apart means they have mostly forgotten the terror they endured together 27 years ago. This movie is a combination of both comedy and horror. But trust me, the horrific scenes in this movie are intense and will definitely send chills down your spine.
2.
Number 9. Us. Us is a 2019 American horror film written and directed by Jordan Peele. Starring Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, Elizabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker. This is indeed a terrifying movie with an unpleasant viewing experience. The film follows Adelaide Wilson, Nyong'o, and her family, who are attacked by a group of menacing doppelgangers. The family's serene beach vacation turns to chaos when their doppelgangers appear and begin to terrorize them. These mysterious figures that keeps attacking them are dressed in red. Upon their closer inspection, the Wilsons realize that the intruders are exact lookalikes of them. If you're a good fan of horror movies, then I think you should consider giving this movie a shot. Number 8. Train to Busan. If you're the kind that loves the mix of action and horror movies, then you clinch into this movie. Train to Busan is a South Korean action horror movie released in 2016. The film mostly takes place on a high-speed train from Seoul to Busan as a zombie apocalypse suddenly breaks out in the country and threatens the safety of the passengers. Sok-woo and his daughter are on a train to Busan on the latter's birthday to see his wife. However, the journey turns into a nightmare when they are trapped amidst a zombie outbreak in South Korea. It's a movie thrilled with action, horror and suspense. Who would think a horror movie can be shot on a train? Well, this movie did it. While in the Part 2 of this movie, which was released in 2020, Yoon Sok, a former soldier, along with his teammates, sets out on a mission to battle hordes of post-apocalyptic zombies in the Korean peninsula wastelands. The horror scenes in this movie may not be as intense as the aforementioned movies. But believe me, you're definitely going to enjoy a mix of horror and action. Number 7. A Quiet Place. Imagine being forced to maintain an absolute tranquility just to stay alive. Yes, that's what A Quiet Place is all about. The first film of Quiet Place was released in 2018. It's an American horror film directed by John Krasinski and written by Brian Woods, Scott Beck and Krasinski from a story conceived by Woods and Beck. Followed by the Part 2, which is recently released this year 2021. Both of which follow a family that is forced to navigate and survive in a post-apocalyptic world inhabited by blind aliens with an acute sense of hearing. While in Part 2, following the events at home, the Abbott family now face the terrors of the outside world. Forced to venture into the unknown, they realize the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats lurking beyond the sand path. Number 6. Evil Dead. From the name alone, you can tell how scary this movie is. Evil Dead is an American supernatural horror film franchise created by Sam Raimi consisting of 4 feature films and a television series. The series revolves around the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, an ancient Sumerian text which wreaks havoc upon a group of cabin inhabitants in a wooded area in Tennessee. The movie revolves around 5 friends who traveled cabin in the woods, where they unknowingly release flesh-possessing demons. The extreme terrifying scenes of this movie made me have sleepless night at the time I watched it. The creepy scenes are tense and mind-skipping. This gave me the illusion that anything that has to do with the woods is creepy and scary.
Another pee. Time to go to sleep.
Number 5. Veronica. During a solar eclipse, a teenage girl and her friends want to summon the spirit of the girl's father using an Ouija board. However, during the session she loses consciousness and soon it becomes clear that evil demons have arrived. This movie was inspired by true events. This 2017 released movie was directed by Paco Plaza. It was screened in the Contemporary World Cinema section at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival. Number 4. The Exorcist. The Exorcist is a 1973 American supernatural horror film directed by William Friedkin. Produced and written for the screen by William Peter Blatty based on the 1971 novel of the same name by Blatty. When a 12-year-old girl is possessed by a mysterious entity, her mother seeks the help of 2 priests to save her. That is when you get to see the creepy and scary moments. You can imagine how good this movie is. Being released in 1973 and still kept a good record till date. This film is evergreen, and will be known as one of best scariest movies ever produced. The scenes of these movies are immensely terrifying, but not as comparable to recent days produced horror movie. But at the time of its release in 1973, it was the best horror movie you can set your eyes on.
From this creature of the dead, to depart from the servant of God. It's the power.
Number 3. Insidious. Insidious is a 2010 American-Canadian supernatural horror film directed by James Wan. Written by Lee Wanell, and starring Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, and Barbara Hershey. It is the first installment in the Insidious franchise, and the third in terms of the series. Just as you may have it. And similar to most horror movie storyline, a family looks to prevent evil spirits from trapping their comatose child in a realm called the Further. The movie centers on parents taking drastic measures when it seems their new home is haunted and their comatose son is possessed by a malevolent entity. In Insidious 2, Josh Lambert and his family relocate to his mother's old house in the hopes of recovering from past trauma. However, they soon encounter strange and chilling paranormal events. While in Insidious 3, Quinn, a young girl, reaches out to a powerful psychic to help her contact her recently deceased mother. However, her plan backfires when an evil spirit makes Quinn a host and hurts her physically. The terrifying scenes of this movie is absolutely phenomenal. With every scene comes with a spine-chilling and nerve-wracking moments. Trust me, these are movie series you shouldn't watch alone.
There's someone standing in front of you. He's talking to you.
What's he saying?
He's got your baby. 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 He's got your baby.
Number 2. The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. The Conjuring is a serial frightening movie. From The Conjuring 1 released in 2013, The Conjuring 2 released in 2016, down to the third, which is The Devil Made Me Do It, released in June 4, 2021. When you talk about real horrifying movie, then The Conjuring is a perfect example. This movie is based on true life events. It's a supernatural horror film that revolves around paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who take on one of the most sensational cases of their careers. After a cop stumbles upon a dazed and bloodied young man walking down the road, accused of murder, the suspect claims demonic possession is his defense, forcing the Warrens into a supernatural inquiry unlike anything they've ever seen before. Similar to Insidious, with every scene of this movie comes greatest suspense, shock and unpredictability. Not only will this movie keep you in suspense, but also entertains you with series of startle. Ensure to gear up your shock absorber.
Lorraine! Lorraine! Ed! You alright?
Number 1. The Nun. Who will think that a horror movie will be shot with a nun costume? Well, nobody was expecting that. But you know what? The movie was exceptionally terrifying. In fact, The Nun is the perfect example of a horror movie. The Nun is a 2018 American Gothic supernatural horror film directed by Corin Hardy and written by Gary Dauberman. From a story by Dauberman and James Wan. It is a spin-off of 2016's The Conjuring 2 and the fifth installment in the Conjuring Universe franchise. In this movie, a young nun at a cloistered abbey in Romania takes her own life. A priest with a haunted past and a novice on the threshold of her final vows are sent by the Vatican to investigate. Together they uncover the order's unholy secret, risking not only their lives but their faith and their very souls. They confront a malevolent force, Valak, in the form of the same demonic nun that first terrorized audiences in The Conjuring 2, as the abbey becomes a horrific battleground between the living and the damned. This movie has series of unpleasant baying experience that will leave you spine-tingling and horrifying.
Sister, please. This way. Hello?
This comes to the conclusion of our list of top 10 horror movies. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Like our video and hit the notification bell to get notified on our latest videos.